Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zach. Today I'm going to be talking about RKT, Rocket Companies and Corporations. This is a full DD, so it's going to include technical analysis, news, what I think about the stock, and my personal recommendation. At any point, if you feel that you want to know a bit more about the technical indicators that I'm going to be using, you'll find in the description below a playlist that explains them all. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help the channel grow, subscribe, and leave your notifications on. Let's jump right into it. So there is a little bit of a lack of details here on the technical indicators because it's a new IPO. So it's going to be more fundamentally based rather than technical analysis. So let's jump right into it here. We get to see on the billion% the stock is oversold. That is a good sign. Momentum here seems to be a little bit down, but the stock 10 SMA here seems to be a little bit stable, increasing up in direction. We need to look a little bit into the 1 hour perspectives here in order to determine better more of the understanding of what the movement is. So you get to see that, well, gone positive here, a little bit of negative, and then back positive. It looks like it might be on a little bit of an testing for a reversal here, positive reversal, and it looks like it probably get by into Monday through that positive reversal. So that is a bullish sign. Moving forward, we get to see on million%, it gives us basically the same kind of story, where we get to see a little bit between oversold and overbought. So I would say it's more around neutral, closer to oversold. ADX supports in a very strong indication that their trend is here and is easily formed. Now there was a previous trend that kind of declined before, but by hitting 50, that's more around the 1 hour perspective. On an overall perspective, it looks like there is a trend here and it's strong. Momentum seems to be quite the same as well. You get to see that kind of story where momentum is still on average high. Towards the moving averages, we get to see that the stock 10 SMA and the 30 EMA are on the chart just a little bit above the stock price. 30 EMA is above the 10 SMA. That is a bearish sign. 50 SMA and the 200 SMA are above the stock price, and that is as well a bearish sign. You get to see the 50 SMA might cross from the top or under the 200 SMA, and that's called a death cross if that does happen. But given that maybe it actually does see a jump on Tuesday, that death cross will be avoided. Now moving on towards Fibonacci retracements. So taking a quick look at 3510 all the way down to 1831, we get to see a significant support sitting at 2230 and a significant resistance sitting at 2470. Follow that on the Fibonacci retracements towards 2673. Now significant supports and resistances here, we're sitting right now at 2463. So a significant support is at 2447 here, and then below that we get to see 2379, and then below that we get to see the 2356, and then below that the 2256. Below that we get to see 2235, and then below that 2229, and then below that 2134. Now resistances a little bit more exciting. We get to see a 2256, and then 2583, and then 2619, and then there's one at 2657, and then 2668, 2725, and then we're looking at 2751, and on top 2790. So we get to see there is a lot of room to grow on this one. Now I'm gonna try to do quickly trend lines if I can understand, or if I can look at any of them here. So looking onto patterns alone, we get to look like it might be actually resembling a cup, and then perhaps a secondary cup, and then the handle. So that is quite interesting because that is a bullish sign. But we might see still perhaps another continuation towards this pullback, but we yet to look in terms of the news, right? So I still didn't cover this one here, but it seems to be a very, very strong support, sitting closer to around the 2412. And you get to see that's room where it has jumped before, and it does see a little bit of quite of a nice jump as well. Let's jump into news. So first of all, quarter earnings. So those ones were amazing. I'm gonna go first to the company highlights, and I'm zooming in just to help. Generated record loan originations volume of 72.3 billion and net rate lock volume of 92 billion, which represented year-over-year improvement of 126 and 170% respectively. Increased gains on sale margin compared to historical levels as favorable market conditions boosted demand for mortgages and led to capacity constraints in the industry. Leverage Technologies investments to manage surge in demand while maintaining industry peers leading turn times, grew total revenue net by 268%, adjusted revenue and 152 compared to the first quarter of 2020. Overall, it all looks amazing here. Earned 7 consecutive GD Power Award for customer satisfaction in mortgage services. So all in all, it looks like the company has a lot of growth in there, and that is amazing. So this is dollars in thousands. So this is quite interesting. Well, not very quite interesting because the IPO is fixed in there in terms of their pricing. So it still looks amazing for us. Gains on sale loans, you get to see almost, this is 4.7 million, but the numbers are reported in thousands. So we're talking about $4.8 billion. So their total revenue, or total loss, but in this case revenue, is $3.5 billion. That is amazing and still is really nice on the last ending scale. So when we're looking at 3 months ending and we're looking year to year, here's where things get very interesting. You get to see a 3.5 billion compared to a loss previously. Now, if this company does see a loss, that would probably be a negative reversal in terms of their company's price. But let's try to look into where did they get their money from. And you look, it's basically gains on sale on loans excluding fair values. So it's not really the initial IPO that brought them out all this money, so it's still a safe side. In terms of cash, they do have quite a bit of cash. I don't see any offerings. I don't see why. They do have a lot of revenues on hand, so that is amazing. Moving forward, we're going to be looking into, well, what are you buying, right? So this is the company investor relations. I couldn't find a presentation, so I'm going to go through a little bit of a manual style here. So first things first, the last PR, there's only around perhaps 6 or 7 press room releases, so I already covered a lot of them, including their quarter earnings. Now, what are the companies they have? Rocket Mortgages, and their Detroit-based Rocket Mortgage is the nation's largest mortgage lender. They've closed more than $1 trillion in home loans since inception. Rocket Mortgage became the first initially digital mortgage experience in 2015. And so this is the website that you get to see. It's more of a digital kind of service, so it's kind of a little bit interesting there. A bit of different awards, 10 years consecutive awards, 2010 to 2019, 7 consecutive from 2014 to 2020. Quite interesting. Now, AmRock is another one. AmRock is a lending provider of title insurance services, properties, valuation sentiments, services, facilitating over 444,000 sentiment transactions. This is their website as well. Moving back, we get to see Nexus one as well, Nexus Technologies, which is a fintech company focused on creating and delivering innovative solutions for smarter lending processes. Going on their website here, there's a lot of different news. I can go on all day about each of these companies and go in depth, but that video will probably be more perhaps closer to an hour. Lendesk here is a technology company offering a suite of products digitized and simply the Canadian mortgage experience. Secure integrations with other industries make for a seamless user experience. So there's Lendesk, more of a Canadian as well one, with a lot of major brand names such as Scotiabank, CIBC, a lot of different ones there like Manulife and Mars. Moving back, Edison Financials, which is in Windsor, Ontario based digital mortgage firm that uses Lendesk Spotlight, which is the one before here. Home sale and search, Rocket Homes. So this one here is more of a platform for real estate agents referral networks that help match home buyers with sellers for the top rated agents, and they had more than 30,000 transactions in 2019. It's actually this one here, Rocket Homes. For sale by owner is very much of the same idea, but more of the one-to-one from owner basically. So that is as well interesting one. It's more of a simple platform. There you go. And auto personal financing, Rocket Auto and Rocket Loans. They basically are more around personal loans and personal financing. And then other ones, Core Digital Media, which is more of a platform for advertising and marketing for insurance, education sectors, and for mortgages. So they have as well their website right on here. Lower My Bills, which connects clients provider of home loans, auto loans, and personal loans, as well as auto, home, and life insurance. quite of a handful. I'm so sorry, just bear with me. Go, this is their website. I'm not going to go through details, but you get to see basically they are more of a roundabout company with different kind of services. Other ones are Rocket Connections, which is more of a sales platform, and you kind of get the idea. More fintech, marketing, business, real estate, and that is kind of the pool that they're working with. This is Rock Connections, this is Rock Central, and Rocket Innovation Studios, which is more about marketing. Now going on towards their catalyst. So the amazing thing with this one is that they do as well have a Twitter account that is still started in July 2020, but it is the actual one. It's verified, and there's a lot of different news coming in out of it. So if we were to see perhaps a new conference, a new catalyst, we most likely will be hearing on it on their Twitter. So if you are interested in this company, I definitely recommend following them out. Now, what do I think about the stock and how it's going to trade? Now, I did hear, for instance, quite a bit from like people like Warren Buffett, where they don't buy initial public offerings ever. Well, now if they did buy it around like $17 or so, probably would have seen double their money. But what they're referring to is, in terms of an IPO, there's a lot of unknowns, and you get to see on terms of technical indicators that things are a little bit different. They're a little bit rough here and there. There's a lot of movements, especially on the one day. A lot of these technical indicators aren't even populated, and because there's not enough information to do the mathematical calculations, that gets them around there. For instance, the moving averages, like the 200 SMA moving average on one day needs 200 days. It cannot generate that. So that is the bit of the kind of roundabout for this one. But what do I think about the stock? I do think that there is a really strong support at the 1871 and on the 2021, as well as again on the 2444, or to be sorry, not 2444, around the 2515 and 2444. If it does dip below there, I would say perhaps the lowest it probably can go is around the $18 mark. Sorry, $18.82, almost $19. That definitely is a buy for me over there. Now, for the medium term, this company looks like it's amazing. I'll definitely give it a hold. My only concern is the real estate sector. Now, going on towards comparisons with their other industry peers, based on my portal, ES&T, Tree, PFSI, there is all different ones, and they go all through different ranges, going from around $4 all the way to $300. But it seems that the sentiment is a little bit more around neutral. The real estate market is a little bit shaky. If we do get a market crash, for instance, we might see a little bit of raise there on the real estate. But if we get an economy crash, which we are in technical recession, mortgages might be a little bit of a tough situation to be in terms of the industry. But overall, for this future, if we're talking just about the same kind of economical environment that we're in right now, this one is definitely a really nice hold for me in the midterm with only that concern. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.